So who is stronger, Sengoku or Garp? Two of the strongest Marines in all of One Piece, and the only two Marines officially confirmed to have Conqueror's Haki. Now, not saying that a certain red dog, the cherished one, top one, won't have Conqueror's Haki revealed eventually, but as of now, the only confirmed Conqueror's Haki users are these two. Garp and Sengoku's rivalry is something that's clearly depicted throughout all of One Piece. Through their adulthood in the old age, the two have had banter back and forth through it all. It's even outright stated that they are rivals in One Piece magazine, in a diagram that shows Whitebeard, Shiki, Garp, and Sengoku all to be rivals of the same type of league. You also have statements from Oda directly that was published in One Piece magazine volume 16 for one of the One Piece games that talks about one of the video game characters as being a Devil Fruit user who can compete with Garp, Sengoku, Whitebeard, and Roger, putting them in the same league. Now, of course, that character is not canon, but Oda giving the sketching and outlining the skeleton for the story of the game tells you his mindset is putting these characters all within the same tier of power. You then have in manga examples like Roger saying to fodder Marines after defeating them, at least bring Garp or Sengoku with you, the rest of you are no fun. Keyword there is or. Obviously he doesn't say bring Garp and Sengoku, either one of them individually is enough to challenge Roger. It's even more impressive depending on your interpretation of the context in which that battle would take place, as Roger's crew far outweighs whatever Marine fleet Sengoku or Garp would individually bring, save for maybe the featless goat Bogard. That of course makes sense given the dialogue Roger and Garp shared earlier in the series, talking about how they had countless battles where they fought each other with intent to kill. Sometimes people like to bring up the fact that Garp and Sengoku in Chapter 0 fought Shiki 2v1 at Marineford, and I talk about this in much more length in my Shiki versus Roger video, so check that out if you'd like. But the context there is that they're fighting at Marineford. If you know anything about when the Admirals or Marines fight at Marineford, Sengoku touched on this in the war. It is about protecting the island, not the fortress. The fortress can be rebuilt, but the island cannot be destroyed as the symbol for the world. So therefore, the Marines are going to be in a nerf state. That's why they would be fighting 2v1. Also, it's something about efficiency as to put him down as quick as possible, as Shiki got far less damage inflicted to Marineford than Whitebeard did, and he was bleeding a week after the events of the fight. You also have to take into account that in the One Piece verse, logically, it's not about ego. In that moment, when Shiki shows up to Marineford, it's about efficiency, taking him out, mitigating the damage. People live on Marineford. They don't want to destroy the island. They have to get rid of this guy with the float fruit who's very dangerous as far as destructive capability as fast as possible. It's not a setting to where you want to have an extreme diff 1v1 fight, as showcased by Aokiji and Akainu having to leave the island to have their 1v1 fight after we had previously saw them fight perfectly fine on Marineford. Just goes to show the true capacity of the high-end levels of Marines, and what they're truly capable of needs to happen in an isolated setting, far away from resources they want to protect. It was even highlighted specifically that Shiki was supposed to be Sengoku's business, and Sengoku specifically told Garp to stay out of it. It was a very similar relationship to the one that Roger and Garp have, where both of them wanted to individually take down their foes. It just so happened that in this context, that was not going to be plausible, but he had every intention of fighting Shiki alone at open sea. We have countless statements of Sengoku and Garp being legends of the Marines and leading the charge for the Marines over the past few decades, as well as even in their old age, continuing to show that they do not fear each other and speak very openly and freely with each other, highlighting their rivalry even into their older age. We see at Marineford that when Garp shows up to the platform, Sengoku specifically says, "Just don't get any funny ideas in your head, Garp, or I'll dispose of you too." To which Garp replies, "If I were going to do something, I'd have done it a long time ago," indicating that Sengoku believed that he could have taken down Garp and prevented Garp from doing anything while he was up on the platform. This is kind of reinforced by the fact that Sengoku is capable of holding Garp down when he is pissed off in a bloodlusted state. Now, some could believe that Garp let that happen, but I highly doubt it given Garp's character and the fact that, of course, it's just he got caught off guard by Sengoku holding him down, and they're already classified as being relative to each other. It makes perfect sense that Sengoku could hold him down. It was serious force that was being used to hold him there. He said, "Sengoku, you had better keep holding me down like that." Not to say that I think that means he would overpower Garp in any setting, but it's a situation where, yeah, if he catches Garp by surprise and gets him from behind, definitely can hold him down as their relative. Also with that Shiki fight, the thing that rings true in my mind is, if you go back to JJK when Gojo was fighting with Sukuna, Maharaga, and Agito, Agito was the one that could not keep up. And that's always what I think about when characters are fighting in a multi-man fight, where if there's somebody that is far outclassed by the other, he will not be able to keep up and will become the weak link. Therefore, he could be dispatched of quickly and cause problems for the team. Now, that's not the case in all instances, and context matters, but it's something interesting to note and think about. All in all, we don't have many on-screen feats for Sengoku, although we do know that he fought Blackbeard for an unspecified period of time off-screen. Really, Blackbeard and his whole crew at Marineford. Now, the crew at Marineford, most of them didn't have their devil fruits by this point, and they're much weaker presumably than they are currently. But Blackbeard with both Devil Fruits is still a extremely powerful foe while being nerfed on Marineford, Sengoku that is, being able to go toe to toe with him in a 1v1 or potentially 1v5 setting. Now some people believe that Garp stepped in and fought. He was preparing to step in and fight to back up Sengoku, but it never actually happened. It specified on screen that Sengoku was fighting them, and Garp never had gotten involved in the fight. He was prepared to, but then Shanks had showed up. So you could maybe take an interpretation that Blackbeard was getting the upper hand, but I would more so lean in the favor of it just being a similar situation with the Shiki encounter, where Blackbeard was powerful enough to where the damage was getting too great. Garp would have to step in to mitigate that damage, and it was just an optimal moment to back up his friend Sengoku. I don't think that that by any means that Blackbeard was going to win against Sengoku or not. We do know he was damaged though, however, but we don't have any context on that. We don't have any context of the feats that happened. As far as Garp had a very good showing against Aokiji, albeit Garp was fighting a severely holding back Aokiji. I talked about this at great length in my Aokiji versus Garp video and various other videos reiterating those topics on the fight. But in fairness, Garp was stabbed by Shuryu and had other things on his mind during the fight, such as saving Kobe and making sure that the next generations of the Marines were safely able to escape the island. All in all, I think that there's overwhelming evidence for the two of these characters being rivals. If you wanted to lean toward Garp right now, I wouldn't have a problem with that just from the lack of feats from Sengoku. Garp has better showings and better portrayal thus far with the Aokiji fight, with the God Valley flashback, and with the documented fights against Roger at least. All we have for Sengoku are insinuations and hints, subtle hints to the prospect of him fighting with these old legends at different various points in the old era, as Whitebeard highlights how commendable he is on the battlefield, and of course, Roger seems to know about his combat prowess. I would not be surprised, however, if over time, when we finally do, if we finally do, get the reveal on the true power of Sengoku's Buddha fruit and the true essence of his full power, if it is revealed that Sengoku is slightly stronger than Garp at one point. But for now, that's just headcanon. So if you want to go with Garp, I have no problem with that. But I do think that without any question, Garp and Sengoku are one and the same. They are relative fighters at the highest of levels. Hope you enjoyed all the content in 2024. I look forward to having all your guys' support going into 2025, and we're going to take the channel to new heights. Appreciate it. See ya.